Internet Governance Forum are held in August, but we've used the occasion of the 30th anniversary of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union to celebrate this milestone. We're a little early, but it's an appropriate time. We're celebrating 30 years of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union and 15 years of the Caribbean Internet Governance Forum. And I just want to thank our local sponsor, B-Mobile, for their support, and to our friends and partners, ARIN, LACNIC, Facebook, Google, ICANN, ISOC, and the Internet Governance Forum's Support Association. Thank you all for joining with us and partnering with us to make this 15th edition of the Caribbean Internet Governance Forum a reality. There's much to be done. So I wish us all fruitful discussions and a successful 15th Caribbean Internet Governance Forum. I thank you.
Thank you very much, SG. One thing she didn't mention is that Tuesday evening, she was also recognized for her leadership and her drive, her faith, and inspiring her staff basically to make all this happen. So on her behalf as well. Okay, basically now we made a little time available for some remarks from some of the sponsors and supporters that she has mentioned towards the end of her remarks. And I'll just go straight into that now. The first one is an online participant and a representative from the United Nations IGF Secretariat. Our Caribbean Governance Forum on the global scale is considered a regional initiative. And Anja Gengo, who is the person who will speak, she is the coordinator at the IGF Secretariat, looking at national and regional initiatives, that is smaller internet governance fora operating all over the world at national level and regional level. And she's the liaison person coordinating the contacts and management of all of us, like CIGF. Anja was on earlier. Anja, are you on?
Yes, I am, Nigel. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well. So please welcome Ms. Anja Gengo from the IGF Secretariat in Geneva.
Thank you very much, Nigel. I hope the sound is fine on my side, and I'm thanking you for allowing the IGF Secretariat to provide a few remarks on this very important day. Your Excellencies, Secretary General, delegates, ladies and gentlemen present online and on site. On behalf of the United Nations Secretariat for the Internet Governance Forum, please accept sincere congratulations for successfully running the 15th Caribbean Internet Governance Forum process. The IGF Secretariat would like to convey special recognition of the excellent work to the Multi-Stakeholder Organizing Committee of the Caribbean IGF, as well as to the Caribbean Telecommunications Union and the Caribbean Community Secretariat as its long-standing institutional supporter and host. We've came a long way on this digital transformation journey. Our economies, environments, cultures, and societies are significantly impacted by the digitalization of various services and things. Mere access to the internet, backed with newly emerging frontier technologies, has transformed our communication methods, work mechanisms, educational and health systems, just to name the few aspects vital for our living conditions. And it is proven so far that the ICTs can be an accelerator for achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. But these digital transformations also brought a number of concerns. For example, related to how we exercise and protect our human rights, how we keep our properties safe, how we socialize, and so on. Dear colleagues, in all our addresses of the role of digital technologies, let us keep in mind that technologies are made by people and managed by people. Their deployment needs to be in the best interest of everyone, and for that we need good policies and discussion and decision-making mechanisms. The United Nations as a system is aware of the impact of new technologies on societies and the need to have good mechanisms to address them. For this, the UN is providing concrete steps toward addressing these matters. One of these is the digital strategy that the United Nations Secretary General has announced, in addition to him establishing the high-level panel on digital cooperation to advance a dialogue on strengthening international cooperation in the digital age. Probably many of you will recall that at the 13th annual IGF meeting that was held last year in Paris, the United Nations Secretary General has underlined the critical importance of the non-traditional, multilateral and multi-stakeholder cooperation that includes governments, private sector, research centers and civil societies for governing the Internet. The Secretary General further advised that the IGF should enhance its relevance by evolving from being multi-stakeholder to multidisciplinary, by including and amplifying the weak and missing voices, and by engaging with local communities and creating shared language and references. The IGF Secretariat calls the Caribbean IGF community to continue the good work as done so far and to follow these advices. Turn to your homes, schools, universities, your companies, your governments. Have your colleagues joining you on occasions such as the one that gathered us today. Ensure that young people speak to you and that you speak to them. Ensure that you have women and men involved equally in your IGF processes, as well as the elderly population and those living in urban and rural areas. We all have to take part in discussions related to how the technologies will shape our future. Caribbean IGF is geographically very specific. It is from your region that we have learned how important role the new technologies can play in mitigating the harms of natural disasters, as well as about very specific challenges the small island developing states have. You bring very unique views, and it is important to have you represented at the global IGF. One of the ways to be represented is to have the stakeholders from the Caribbean region represented at the Internet Governance Forum's multi-stakeholder advisory group that advises the United Nations Secretary General on the program of the annual IGF meeting. The renewal for the next year is announced, and you are very much invited to nominate stakeholders from your region until 30th June of this year. Another effective way to take part at the IGF global processes is to join the 14th annual IGF meeting and to contribute with your unique views to the overall discussions. The 2019 IGF meeting will be hosted by the government of Germany in Berlin from 25th to 29th of November. And finally, the third and very effective way to be part of the IGF 2019 processes is to contribute with your unique views to the IGF 2019 intersessional work, mainly through providing substantive inputs to the IGF best practice forums, which are focused on the cybersecurity, local content, gender and access, and big data, Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence. The IGF Secretariat would like to once again thank you for honoring us to address you on this very important day. We thank you for pioneering the Internet Governance Forum concept on regional level and successfully implementing the multi-stakeholder model for discussing the Internet governance matters for 15 successful years now. We wish you best of luck with this year's meeting and many more to come in the future. We look forward to very fruitful discussions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anja, for those words of encouragement and recognition. And I think we do have, even now, some representation on that UN MAG from the Caribbean. And we'll take on board your suggestion that we seek to continue to represent and strengthen our voices on the global stage. Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Mr. Gabriel Recalde, who is the Manager of Public Policy and Government Affairs for Google. Gabriel, please.
Thanks, Nigel, and thanks, Bernadette and all the team at the CTU for organizing this event for the 15th year and for having me here. It's a pleasure to see you all. Google, as you know, has been supporting this forum, which is the first and oldest, I think, in governance in internet governance issues. And we have been supporting it from the very beginning because we are convinced that it is a great example of all stakeholders gathering together to discuss the most pressing issues around internet policy. And I think that most important of all is thinking together about a way to advance the Caribbean region into the digital economy, overcoming its challenges, but also taking advantage of all the benefits. So as internet penetration in the Caribbean keeps growing, we are sure that these issues will grow and its importance and impact will be more important than ever. So I'm looking forward for a fruitful discussion with you all in these 2 days. And bringing the perspective of a global company like Google into the table. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. And yes, we will be hearing from Gabriel in our panel later this morning. Moving on quickly, we next hear from Ms. Claudia Giraldo, Public Policy Manager of the Caribbean region of Facebook. Please welcome Claudia.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much to the CTU and to the organizers of the IGF. I'm honored and grateful that you invited me to participate this year to this event. I'm the public policy person for the Caribbean at Facebook. It's the first time ever that we have a person fully devoted to the Caribbean, and that's because the Caribbean is important to us. It's humbling to be surrounded by so many great minds and great hearts and people who just watching that award celebration the other night, people who are so committed to having this kind of conversations to move the agenda for the Caribbean. The CTU and the IGF have done an amazing job organizing all of this. And I'm here really to listen to all of you, to get to know you better, to hopefully accompany you in that wonderful journey that you have embarked yourselves on, and find ways to contribute to that wonderful agenda that you have set for the region. So my predecessor told me before I took my job that I would fall in love with the Caribbean, and she was right. Thank you for including me in these conversations. I look forward to speaking to all of you later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claudia. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think you only started this particular role this year. Yes. Okay, excellent. Welcome, and we look forward to greater things. One of our stalwart supporters has been the American Registry for Internet Numbers, and we have their Caribbean Outreach Liaison here, Mr. Bevil Wooding, who would come and say a few words on ARIN's behalf. Mr. Bevil.
Thank you, Nigel. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Madam Secretary General, and congratulations on the recognition well-deserved for your sterling and peerless contribution to internet governance in the Caribbean. I don't think there'll be any contention or opposition to recognizing Bernadette again for making this all possible. This is the 15th edition of the Caribbean Internet Governance Forum, And I have to bring greetings from the American Registry for Internet Numbers, and the staff at Team ARIN is as excited and as congratulatory to you and to the CTU for convening this forum and for ensuring that over the years it has continued to be the forum in which the priorities, the concerns, and the emphases of the region get distilled and get articulated in a way that actually allows us all to develop the tracks that we need for pushing the region forward. In terms of ARIN's ongoing support, I have to state the commitment to continue partnering and to continue collaborating with the Caribbean Internet Governance Forum. It is one of the most important opportunities we have to create an understanding of what is important to the region. And as I look across the room, and I know there are also persons online, we recognize that there is need to get other faces and other voices and other demographics in the room. And we are committed to ensuring that that the collaboration in the weeks, months, and years to come expands the outreach to involve others in this important work. Many people still have question marks over what is internet governance and why does it matter and why does the region need to have a voice. And before those question marks can be appropriately addressed, we have to continue to find ways of profiling and projecting what the intersection between ordinary needs and ordinary concerns are with these policy issues that are so important for the region. And that work is never ending. And that work requires multiple, not just organizations, but stakeholders to bring themselves forward and to have their voices heard. And that requires a different kind of outreach. I think we're all seeing the change in the trends in the region as it relates to how you communicate and what constitutes effective communications. And as we go forward, I want to give you the assurance that ARIN and not just the organization, but myself and others who are looking on not just with interest, but with a desire to understand how they can participate, that avenues can be created for attracting the voices and opinions and concerns of others, but avenues can also be created for allowing the participation and tangible contributions of groups across the length and breadth of the Caribbean. I think the work that we have to do today is important, but the work that we have to do tomorrow is even more important. That ongoing work of ensuring that the communication, the outreach, and the opportunity to involve and to expand the participation is granted to the entire region. And for that, we want to give our assurance of continued support and collaboration to you, to Nigel, and to the Internet Governance Forum in the Caribbean. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bevil. ARIN support is very much appreciated indeed. The other regional internet registry that covers the Caribbean is LACNIC, the Latin American Caribbean Registry. And speaking on behalf of LACNIC at this point would be Mr. Ernesto Majó, the Deputy CEO of LACNIC. So Ernesto, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation to come to be here. It's a pleasure for me and for LACNIC to be part of the opening of the 15th Caribbean IGF. And I think that Caribbean IGF is the first regional process in the world. So I would like to congratulate all of the organizers for that. And also, as a LACNIC, I am part of the LAC IGF. LAC IGF is a regional process complement with the Caribbean IGF. And in 2011, I guess, we organized the fourth LAC IGF back-to-back with the Caribbean IGF. So it was a wonderful experience, and I hope to be in the future, near future, another opportunity to do that. Well, I would like to congratulate CTU for the 30 years. I think that all of you are know the work of the CTU, but for us, it's an example of an organization that knows how to promote the dialogue and reach consensus in order to reach agreement among key stakeholders. This Caribbean IGF epitomized these fundamental principles of intergovernance and equitable digital development. We have had the opportunity of collaborating with the CTU for many years and initiatives, and we can testify in the high quality of its work. So Bernadette Lewis goes above and beyond the call when it comes to spearheading technology imperative in the Caribbean region. For over 15 years, LACNIC has been collaborating with CTU, and we are committed to continue this collaboration in the coming years to strengthen the capacity of the Caribbean actors and the individuals. As you know, we are one of the RIRs that which attend the Caribbean region. Our service area includes Belize, Guyana, French Guyana, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, Dominican Republic, Haiti, and the former Netherlands Antilles, Curaçao, Aruba, Bonaire, Saint Eustatius, Saba, and Sint Maarten, the Dutch part of the island. We have 9,000 members in the whole region and 162 from the Caribbean territories. As you can see, our service area is diverse. We serve our English-speaking, French-speaking, Dutch-speaking brothers and sisters, and in addition to the Spanish and Portuguese world. Well, just a few words more. What's in store for the future? What we think is the future? While national communities should establish IGF initiatives, there must be focus on the impact these initiatives can have on digital development. At first, it was enough to organize an IGF local initiative to raise awareness. However, all stakeholders must become more engaged and demonstrate a sense of agency and ownership for digital development at the national level. Global debate on the fate of the global IGF is underway. It is certain that the internet is better with an IGF than without one. But how it is combined and what it achieves is being refocused. The internet is a means to an end and not a means in and of itself. Internet governance debates forums must become more diverse and include other stakeholders like agricultural workers, artists, creatives, etc. Thanks, Nigel and all. We are here for the rest of the activity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ernesto. And in fact, our Secretary General has been an awardee of LACNIC as well for her work in the field of internet governance. So thank you for that. We are moving right along, and we have next the Internet Society, and we will hear from Mr. Shernon Osepa, who is the Manager of Regional Affairs for Latin America and the Caribbean. Please welcome Shernon.
Good morning to all. I do have some notes on a paper here, but I think I'll just speak up from the bottom of my heart. First of all, I would like to congratulate CTU for its 30th anniversary. That's a lot. If you look within, let's say, the internet ecosystem, that would sound like, forever. So congratulations with that. And also for your vision back then, and not only you, but also all those of you who did assist you back then to have, let's say, the Internet Governance Forum organized, which has become, let's say, an example for the world. Maybe sometimes we don't realize, but coming from the Caribbean, and when you meet people from other parts of the world, they are making reference to what you guys have been doing here. So it's not only that we are focusing on other things like sports and those kind of things, but we have people who are very knowledgeable and that are focusing on other areas as well. So again, congratulations for that. I'm bringing also greetings on behalf of Internet Society, our President and CEO, Andrew Sullivan, and also the entire staff. They are sending also regards to all of you. And most of my colleagues, they always would like to come to the Caribbean. When we have a given event in the Caribbean, everybody would like to come to the Caribbean. It was not possible this time because a few of them were attending other, or did have other, let's say, areas that they were focusing on, so they couldn't be here. Going forward, I think it's very important that we keep focusing on the development of the internet. If we take a look at the Caribbean, we know that we have lost all our bananas and sugar industries. So we need to find new ways how we can continue to develop the region. And what we know best, those of you who are in this room, is, let's say, ICTs, internet, telecommunications. That's basically what we know. So we should use, in this particular case, the internet to help the region. And by doing that, I think we can excel in the region and also give our contribution to others. So once more, again, I would like to thank you once more for inviting us to be here. It's always a pleasure and honor for Internet Society to be here. It's not only about participating at the event, but it's how we can give a contribution to the development of the internet. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Shernon. ISOC's contribution is much appreciated as well. Our last in the line of speakers is from the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. That's the group that handles all those domain names and at the global level, domain names and numbers, actually. And we'll hear from Mr. Albert Daniels, who is the Senior Manager for Stakeholder Engagement for the Caribbean. Albert.
Thank you very much, Nigel. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Secretary General of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union and the very hard-working team at the CTU, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers is honored to be able to participate and support this 15th Caribbean IGF, and also importantly, to be able to celebrate with you 30 years of your existence. Our President and CEO, Yoran Marby, was invited to be here at this important celebration. And when he discovered that it would not be possible for him to be here physically, he specifically instructed me to communicate to Ms. Bernadette Lewis that this was no form of disrespect, but he wanted to congratulate you and the CTU for all of the very important and valuable work that you've been doing in the Caribbean. I've already communicated to him that you got another award, and he also, by email asked me to extend his congratulations on that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an internet ecosystem where many of us work together to ensure that we have a single, stable, and interoperable internet. From the perspective of ICANN, we work with our regional internet registries, two of which are present here today, LACNIC and ARIN, and we also work with other partners like ISOC. And when it came to the Caribbean and the time to choose a partner to work with from the Caribbean, it was almost a no-brainer. When we looked at the work that the CTU had been doing and the extent to which they had been engaging in capacity development, it took our last president and CEO, Fadi Chihadi, a very short time to realize that he should come to the Caribbean and sign a memorandum of understanding with Secretary General of the CTU to cooperate and to continue to work together to support the work that the CTU is doing. And we really applaud the work of individuals like Nigel Casimir, who has been a stalwart in what we call the Governmental Advisory Committee in ICANN, which is the space for representatives of Caribbean governments. We congratulate generally and applaud the work of the CTU in capacity building, because those of you who were present at the awards ceremony would have heard the term at large, ALAC, ICANN, over and over again. And it is because of the CTU's work in capacity building that these individuals have been able, to participate as well as they have been doing in the work of ICANN generally. And ladies and gentlemen, sometimes we use words and we hear terms like we have to convert words into action. When the CTU says those things, they really mean it. When the CTU says roadshow, Bernadette Lewis and Nigel Casimir mean roadshow. I remember a particular roadshow in Belize where we went to a place called Punta Gorda. And prior to that, my longest trip in a motor vehicle had been approximately an hour and a half. And Rodney Taylor, Nigel Casimir, Bevil Wooding, and others would remember a 4-hour road trip to get into the heart of Belize to reach and connect with young people and students who would otherwise not have had the opportunity to hear from experts like Bevil Wooding and Nigel about this internet thing and how they can benefit from it. So when we say these nice words about the CTU and Bernadette Lewis, we really mean it because they mean what they're actually doing. And finally, in closing, I want to turn my attention to some of these awardees from that ceremony a few nights ago. This gentleman here, Devanand Tilak Singh. A normal work week, ladies and gentlemen, is 40 hours. This gentleman works at least 50, maybe 60 hours of volunteer time in matters related to internet governance. And then he takes care of his wife and family. Truly amazing, very amazing. And a lot of that has to do, again, with the work of the CTU and all of this capacity building. And then my friend over there, Lance Hines, when I tried to congratulate him after he got his award and used that word that we've heard, soldiers, he said, no, not soldiers, old soldiers. And this is the message that I want to leave you with. Jacqueline Morris, who was one of the other awardees, said during her remarks, look, we need new faces to continue this important work. Poor Dev. Fortunately, he got married and now has a family, and I'm sure his wife is not going to allow him to work those 60 volunteer hours a week. So he has to retire a little bit, or at least reduce the amount of work that he's doing. So the message to you here in the room and others who are watching remotely is that we need new faces to join this important work that the Caribbean Telecommunications Union has been spearheading in the Caribbean. So with that, once again, on behalf of ICANN, I'd like to congratulate the CTU, the leader, Bernadette Lewis, and a very hardworking team. And ICANN will continue to support and work with you to continue this important work that you're doing.
Thank you very much, Albert. And I think your exhortation to bring in new faces gels with what we heard from Anja as well, to engage with the youth. And I'm happy to report that that is happening in at least one of our Caribbean territories, and we'll hear about that in a very short while.